Hey gamers, Maniac here with GameAccess.net doing a new type of series that I'm basically doing because, well, we've got a lot going on right now, but not a lot of gaming news. And so I thought maybe I could turn this into a series. I had about 3 or 4 ideas for it. If you guys like it, I'll do more. I realized that a lot of the stuff that I have in my collection are actually pretty old in comparison to how old how old I think of them as. And so a lot of this stuff that I have, maybe some of you may not even be familiar with. So I thought I'd share some of the coolest stuff in my collection when it comes to the pre-order stories behind them. And so this is going to basically be called My Pre-Order Story. Maybe you guys like it. Please post a comment, post a thumbs up or down, whatever it is that you feel like. But I will be showing you guys some of the coolest stuff that I have in my collection as time goes on. Pre-order is something that I know a lot of people have basically said, don't pre-order anymore. There's no point to pre-ordering anymore. Pre-ordering is bad. However you feel about that one way or another, I can tell you this. Up until about 2003, I had nothing but bad pre-order stories I could tell you. Whenever I'd pre-order something, I would actually probably pre-order it and get it like after everyone else had, if I was even lucky enough to get it in the first place. So I don't think it would be until about 2004 or so when I actually have some pre-order stories to tell you guys. That's not to say I hadn't pre-ordered in the past. I'm just telling you that I hadn't had positive pre-orders with the experiences. So we'll start off with one of the weirdest stories that I have, and that is, of course, Doom 3's pre-order. Now, for those of you who may remember, Doom 3 was a big deal. It was one of the biggest, most anticipated games for the PC at the time. This was 2004. They first announced the game in 2000, and they first showed the game in 2002. And between 2002 and 2004, everybody that had a PC was interested in this game. They were like, we're going to upgrade our rigs with the newest graphics cards. This was a game that was going to push systems. And unlike Crysis, which later became the game that would push systems, Doom actually ran. If you bought a high-end system and you set it up properly, Doom 3 would run on it, as opposed to Crysis, where even if you had the most top-of-the-line systems, and I'm certain that there are top-of-the-line systems right now that aren't powerful enough to run Crysis. And that's just a testament to John Carmack. But we're getting ahead of myself. There's a little setup for you right there. Now, Doom 3 had a weird pre-order system, basically, in that they chose to pre-order. There were 3 places in the United States that you can pre-order. If you live in Europe or another country, please, I'm sorry, this was just the United States. I don't know the international pre-order rules. But there were 3 stores in the United States where they were accepting pre-orders for Doom 3. One was Best Buy. The second was GameStop. And the third was EB Games, or you may know it as Electronics Boutique. Now, I know what you're saying. EB Games and GameStop, those are the same company. They didn't used to be. They were rival companies until GameStop bought him. And so what finally happened is that you had 3 pre-orders. But here was the thing. The rules for pre-ordering them were different for each, pre-order. And the interesting thing about it was that they each offered something different. But unlike today, where you would get a exclusive download code for maybe a trivial cosmetic skin or something like that, they offered actual tangible things. And I've done a search online for these things, and I can't tell you exactly. I figured out what the origin on them is, and that's another reason why I'm doing this video, is because maybe you can tell me. They offered, for anybody that pre-ordered Doom 3 at any of the compatible retailers, a collectible pewter figurine. And unlike, you're probably thinking, wow, that's a pretty cool pre-order item. How would you get it? Or what would it take to do the pre-order? And how would it work? Well, with GameStop and EB Games, you would place down a pre-order, whatever the minimum pre-order was, and you would get a collectible figurine. Now, I can't tell you which is which, but we're going to show you some of the pre-orders right here. This is the Pinky pewter figurine. I think this was I think this was GameStop's. It could have been EB Games, but I think this was actually I think it might have been EB Games's. And as you can see here, there actually is a marking under it, which actually lists the copyright and trademark information for it. So if that helps in the search. The second was the Baron of Hell. Again, I'm pretty certain this was either GameStop's or EB Games. I don't think this was Best Buy's, and it also had its own trademark information. And the last was the Monkey-Bus, and I'm fairly certain this was Best Buy's. I mean, look at the detail on this. So here they are. I know I only have two hands. I'll try see if I can get them closer in a second. Because I know you guys, if you're watching this, you want to see these figures. So I'll keep them up. I'll keep them held up. And these are so cool. Even to this day. By the way, I've had these were pre-ordered in 2004. Look at them. They're still, this is, I mean, I've kept them on a shelf for, oh God, I'm old. And they're still just as nice as the day I got them. Granted, I haven't really been, messing with them that much. Maybe they got a little dust on them or something. But, I mean, look at these. Now, these all came unpainted. I think at the time, sorry. I think at the time, these were, I have seen versions of these that have been painted. I've even seen more than just these figurines, actually. Even in 2004, I remember looking on eBay for them just to see what the baseline price of them was. And I saw more than just these three that were available, which is also kind of interesting in that if you look at the copyright dates on these are marked 1993 and 1997. Was there a pewter figure? Were these sold in 1997 or so? Were these mass produced with other figurines before then? I can't tell. I don't know. So my assumption is that these molds have existed for a while. So maybe these are remanufactured or have been manufactured prior to this. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's why I'm doing this video. So please, somebody, please tell me if you know what the value of these are, where the collection came from. You know what you're saying. You're telling me that you pre-ordered at 3 different stores just to get these 3. I hope that wasn't too expensive. Yeah, about that. Since we're still on the thing of pre-orders and you guys can see these. Yes, I did have to pre-order the game at 3 different stores. But there actually was a bit of serendipity about this. Like I said, the Mancubus, which I believe was the Best Buy pre-order. The thing about that was that unlike the other 2 figurines, unlike GameStop and EB Games or Electronics Boutique, which required only a $5 pre-order to get the figurine, and it wasn't like you had to wait. They shipped out the pre-order figurines months in advance for pre-orders, so you could go to like Electronics Boutique or you could go to GameStop and say, hi, I want to put a pre-order down, and they'd be like $5, and you put that down, and then they'd give you the figurine. So I felt that, even if I didn't use the pre-order, $5 for a figurine like this high quality was certainly a value. Mancubus was different. Mancubus, because Best Buy at the time did not have a pre-order policy like they do today, what they did instead was they had what was called the empty box, or very similar to the empty box that you guys might remember from Star Wars' original Kenner run. And that was that you would go into Best Buy, and along with the boxes and shelves of games that actually had games in them, there would be pre-order boxes, essentially empty boxes that you would pay for a reduced price. It would usually be $10. In fact, that's how much the pre-order for Doom 3 was at Best Buy. It was $10. And since they didn't have the capability of basically, taking down your name, taking down your information, again, this was before they had the Best Buy reward system in place. That would come years later. What they did instead was they included in the box this Mancubus and a coupon for $10 off the final version of the game. And that's basically how they got around it. Obviously, you'd have to surrender the coupon, so you can only use it once. But if you wanted to simply just buy the game, take the Mancubus for yourself, and then give the coupon or sell the coupon off, There was really nothing stopping you from doing that. Granted, like I said, that doesn't work anymore, and so that's basically what happens with that. So again, with a bit of serendipity, I did plan on picking it up at Best Buy. I did pre-order the game, and I intended to actually pick it up at Best Buy when it came out. The problem was is that because the game kept getting delayed and delayed, the release date for it turned out to be a day that I was actually working. And the funny thing about that was that um, I remember telling you guys that I did have problems with pre-orders at that time. I was even. And so what I basically started doing was, it turned out I was working, but I wasn't. I was actually working at a place that was very close to actually one of the GameStop in the Electronics Boutique, which was actually on the not. I pre-ordered those on a whim, just for the figurines. So it was not at my local store. But the funny thing about it was that the store that I had pre-ordered Doom 3 at the GameStop or the Electronics Boutique was actually close to where I was working at the time. And so I remember calling up the stores, finding their numbers was trivial, and asking them, do you have Doom 3? Will you honor my pre-order? I have the receipt or whatever. And they said yes. They said yes. I think it was I think GameStop said it was yes. I think because what was happening was is that Doom 3, because of the manufacturing process, was like, we can't guarantee that we'll be at all places at all times, and so please call your store to know when you're going to pick up. Obviously that doesn't fly anymore, but at the time it did. And basically it was just luck that the day that I was at work, or the day that I was just about to get off from work, I could just go pick up the game, come back, and then play it. So it's one of an interesting story. So I thought you guys would enjoy that story. If you know where these figurines came from, or where they were originally designed for, or if there are more of them, please tell me. Like I said, I'm fairly certain they did make more of these, of all the different original Doom characters. Because if you look at these close enough, you can tell these aren't the Doom 3 designs. These are the original Doom and Doom 2 designs of these characters. So I don't know. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is Maniac with GameAccess.net. Take care. Over and out.